Hello, and welcome to Coffee and Conversations, Trauma Matters Delaware's outreach to all of us who are in some way, as an instructor or as an administrator or in a supporting role, part of an institution of higher education. Students of today are the workforce of tomorrow. Trauma Matters Delaware wants to help you and your college or university become a resilient college or university community in which students and staff thrive academically, professionally, and personally. To quote from Trauma Matters Delaware's white paper, the prevalence and pervasiveness of trauma within our society undoubtedly includes post-secondary students. The significant impact of trauma on individuals' ability to learn and to build relationships is especially relevant within today's higher education. Applying the principles of trauma-informed care to individual courses throughout departments and programs and institution-wide has tremendous benefit. Trauma-informed education provides voice, choice, empowerment, and healing at a time of great need. Students of today are the workforce of tomorrow. With this approach, we can ensure that it's strong and empowered. This work doesn't happen overnight. It can feel arduous, but the overall impact is well worth the investment. We are inviting you to join a coffee and conversation. This conversation will be co-facilitated by a host from your institution of higher education and a Trauma Matters Delaware guide, so you can share your experiences and your suggestions about what's already happening to create trauma-informed institutions of higher education, or just listen to others and develop some supportive relationships throughout Delaware as we all travel on the road to becoming a trauma-informed state. Trauma is real, trauma is prevalent, and trauma is toxic to the brain, and people are more likely to be resilient in environments that are trauma-informed. College students are particularly vulnerable to experiencing a potentially traumatizing event, with as many as 50% exposed in the first year of college. Delaware is following what is referred to as the Missouri model, and this model is well suited to creating trauma-informed and resilient institutions of higher education. In this slide, you see that the developmental stage-based model is a helpful way of understanding how a trauma-informed approach is an ongoing organizational change process. The Missouri model reminds us that becoming trauma-informed is a powerful paradigm shift in our knowledge, in our skills, and in our attitudes. This is not a program to be implemented and then simply monitored by a fidelity checklist. The Missouri model, which Delaware has embraced, follows a continuum that begins with becoming trauma aware and moves to becoming trauma sensitive and trauma responsive as part of the process of becoming trauma informed. In this slide, you will see the 6 principles of a trauma-informed approach. They are applicable to any system. In this slide, you will see how the trauma-informed approach especially applies to students. Trauma Matters Delaware has developed a competency chart, which identifies competencies around knowledge, skills, and attitudes that are best understood along a trauma-informed continuum. Institutions of higher education can utilize this framework as a roadmap for how to actively work towards becoming trauma-informed. This competency chart may be accessed at the Trauma Matters Delaware website. This framework outlines the knowledge, the methods of application, and the attitudinal shifts along a 4-stage continuum, beginning with becoming trauma-aware and ending with trauma-informed. The framework recognizes that everyone in an educational setting plays a role in creating a resilient college or university community where all thrive academically, professionally, and personally. The individual stages of becoming trauma-informed are customized for institutions of higher education staff members who serve as an integral part of the institution of higher education community, but who might not provide direct services to students or staff. It also applies to those faculty and staff members who do provide direct services to students or staff. Coffee and Conversations will help you engage in practical conversations about policies, procedures, and processes which are more trauma-informed. We hope the conversations will be thoughtful and thought-provoking and guide you in asking the questions that are right for your college or university. I hope you have a very powerful coffee and conversation and start accessing some of the amazing resources at the Trauma Matters Delaware website as you become part of the paradigm change to creating a resilient institution of higher education.